If you do not want to change, if you do not want to better yourself, if you do not want to break outside of this matrix, if you want to live in your comfortable delusion that they have built for you, do not watch these videos. Leave this channel. If you do not want any truth, don't want to understand, if you are not here to hear something that's outside of your own mind and accept others' minds and opinions and the way they think for themselves, you do not belong. And finally, if you are not trying to be positive, if you are not trying to help create solutions while we discuss the problems and how they got here, you do not belong here. Negativity, hate, disrespect, name-calling, those things will not be allowed here on this platform, and not in this empire. We are the ones, the true Americans, that want to be free and stand as we have always stood.
Still light the fuel to the game, watch it spark. My lines burn like blunts getting smoked in the dark. Hella cooking shit up if your ass wanna spar. Barbecue your beef up like the seats in my car. Cool yourself off refrigerator and jar. Baby rappers been acting like this is not an art. This is not an art. You forgot about that part. Lady rappers been acting like this is not an art.
Hey.
You forgot about that part.
Hey, we back in the building, and you already know. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. It is the first post-work show. It is after work. We put in work today. Everybody that put in work today, hey, shout out to you. Everybody that put in a little bit of overtime, because you working hard. You make the world go around, thank you, because a lot of people ain't even doing that. All right? Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty. Today was a pretty interesting day, and there was a lot of things going on in life, right? President came out, said some things about a flight to China, whatever. The Strait of Hormuz, and blah, 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 and celebrity this, and bullshit that. Well, science, right? Science is all over the place right now. Science doesn't know what up and down is at this point. So it's kind of hard to believe the experts. Now, I did want to point that out. That experts, they always, have some sort of perception of things. And that looks like, maybe in a way, different than how we view things, because we're not up there in the clouds with them. We're down here in reality, in the trenches, actually focused on survival. And most of the people that are in those positions where they have time to think all day and think about this, that's their job. Okay, they don't actually have to go work. And they get paid pretty well to think, but here's the thing. They have these credentials, with quotations, just some pieces of paper that says they memorized. Not that they have an actual coherence or comprehension of the material, but that they memorize the material and they answer questions correctly. All right? The way that the society wants you to answer it. Not being a free thinker and actually coming up with things that make sense. All right? It's more like coming up with things that are so complex that skew reality even more and make it more complex that normal people don't want to think about that stuff, because we actually have to work. We're not getting paid to sit around and think, or else things would probably get done. A lot of things would probably get done. There's a lot of people like me that are thinkers, and if I didn't have to go to work all day and I could get paid to think all day, I'm sure we figured out all this shit. But they don't want to do that. If that was the case, they would already be doing that. So that's not what they want. All right? So when you hear about experts, or when you hear about scientists, or these people, or they, whoever they are, saying things because they're more educated than you, because they went to indoctrination school and they memorized everything they were supposed to memorize. I get it, because it's propaganda. Like, a lot of it, especially medicine, with quotation, it's bullshit. Back in the day, it was let food be thy medicine. Food, including plants, vegetables of all kinds, fruits of all kinds, mostly organic material, heals your whole entire body. All the medicine they're making is coming from plants. Even cocaine and opium is a plant. This stuff is growing naturally. See, we're not looking at, we're letting them trick us. We are allowing this shit to happen. All right? So if you keep getting sick, it's because they know what plants make you sick. Okay? They make the medicine. And they make the food. All right? They're taking our ability to farm. We need to make it illegal for corporations to be farmers. That will open up the competition. See what I'm saying? Look, corporations should never be able to be farmers. They should never be able to just have all these billions of dollars and grab all this land. No, honestly, they should be forced to either. No, I think those assets should be seized from those companies immediately. Because here's the thing. Normal people, regular people don't have anything to do. And these corporations are actually poisoning our food, and the government's allowing them to do this. Something's got to give. If the government is not going to hold these corporations accountable to be good for us, then they need to be stripped of these. These are privileges. Okay? This is not a mandatory thing. To be a company is a fucking privilege in America. Okay? These companies are coming up. And I'm not talking about mom and pops that are trying to do it right. I'm talking about these corporations that are only profit driven, that don't have any kind of care or purpose or any kind of meaningful, positive impact on the communities and our nation. They should not be legally allowed to participate in our society. When I say this, I mean, we as the people have to lobby our government, which means hundreds of thousands of us need to go in front of the building, and we need to have a signed piece of paper, and we need to have somebody that we say, hey, this is our voice right here. That means we have to pick somebody to represent us. We have to send somebody in there to say, hey, whatever you're doing is not happening, and we got people out there that's not letting this go down. And if the government tries to, do what Iran is doing to their people, oh, we got guns too, G. Don't fucking play with us out here. Okay, America, we can make some moves. Fuck all that Democrat talk. Fuck all that Republican this, haters that, Nazi, whatever. Look, none of that shit matters, bro. If you really want things to get better, we have to start with the things that matter the most. That is our food. We can't even eat clean food, guys. We're not even allowed to go to the store and buy something that's not already poisoned to kill us. That shit should be illegal. I don't think you guys are really understanding what I'm saying. We are constantly allowing these corporations to own our most vital infrastructure, our most abundant and promising land. This shit should be illegal. That belongs to the people, whoever can maintain it. There's a such thing as open markets. Yeah, I get that, but there's a certain point to where this is not capitalism anymore. Okay? This is becoming a monarchy. Not even a monopoly. A monarchy. Because these corporations are becoming kings in their own right. And they're entities that are avoiding taxes. Just as people do. So how are we going to continue to allow this sort of thing to happen? Until us as the people say, all right, look, this is what's going down. We actually work your company, and your company's based here in America. You don't have any physical assets, so you can dissolve this shit and get the fuck on, right? Now, If these companies decide to dissolve and get the fuck on, it's going to take managers and general managers to lobby to the government on behalf, because we have the buildings, we have the facilities, the infrastructure is there. All we have to do is keep the lights on. So ask the government for money and then unionize whatever this company used to be, and just literally they can leave and just take over the assets. See, here's the thing. Companies are nothing except an agreement to follow the rules and sell products and provide a service that benefits our community. That's what a company is for. If the company is not benefiting our community and they're not servicing the people, what is that company for? Most people, we don't even interact with companies that don't benefit us. Food, water, electricity, cell phones, internet, clothes, cars, whatever, airplanes, whatever. We don't deal with companies that don't benefit us. So if these companies are not benefiting us, okay, then why are they allowed to do business in our country? When are we, I'm not even going to say when, us as Americans, we don't give a fuck. That's the problem. You only care about who doesn't agree with you, who's not like you, and people that don't want to see it your way. Oh, fuck them. They're not even, they're not real. They're this and they're that. They're not, whatever. You can call these names all you want to. You're a bitch. You're a fucking bitch. Why are you a bitch? Why? Because you can't get over the fact that somebody has a different color. You can't get over the fact that somebody has a different ideology. You can't get over the fact that somebody is actually American, born in America, loves this place, loves this culture, stands for it, and doesn't want it to be ruined. You're the bitch. You're the one that is holding America back. You're the un-American. Because you can't even stand on American principles, which are the Constitution. Everything here is based off of the Constitution. Yeah, sure. Do your religion, but if your religion starts breaking laws from the Constitution, you gotta go. Either out of this bitch or to jail. Why? Because you're breaking laws, and you will be held accountable. Regardless of your religion, sex, or orientation, or whatever in the fuck, we're not discriminating. You're breaking rules, bitch. It don't matter what you look like, who you fuck with, where you, your ideology. You're going to jail. You broke the fucking law. It's that simple. Follow the laws. I gotta go pay for my registrations. I gotta go pay for my bills. I gotta pay my taxes. I can't run around and just steal stuff. I gotta follow the rules. I'm from here. I'm born here. I'm American. I gotta follow the rules. So do you. Or else. What happens to you, happens to you. That person broke the rules. Self-defense? Hey, you broke the law. I tried to let you know you're breaking the law and to stop. You want to persist to break the law again and come at me. Now you're done. Now you're gone. Now you're erased. And they're looking at me like I did something wrong. No, this guy broke the law so many times. Well, you broke the law by hurting him because people are free to break the law. No. People are allowed to say what they want, think what they want, feel how they want to feel, but if you break the rules, your ass. That's your ass. Welcome to America. Now you want to do away with the police so you can start doing what you want and letting this country go down the hole. No, fuck you. No, fuck you. You unpatriotic, good for nothing immigrant. You're not even coming here to produce. You're not even coming here to benefit America. You're coming here to suck the life out of us, change us to another country that you just left from, that you don't want to be there, or else you would be there. What the fuck? Dude, look, wake the fuck up, guys, all right? That's it, bottom line. If you guys don't want to wake up, then the only thing you deserve is what you get, all right? If you feel like, oh, everything is horrible, it's because you're not waking up. And there's a mass majority of people, mostly, okay, Americans, right, that are ideologically disruptive because they don't believe in God. This is a Christian country. They don't believe in pretty much all of our principles that we have here, especially the right to have a gun and protect yourself. If you don't believe in that, you gotta go. If you tell me that I can't say you ain't shit and I don't like you, if you tell me I can't say as a Democrat, okay, even as a Republican, you guys can be idiots sometimes. You guys can be ignorant as hell, and that's both sides. All right, independents, you guys can be grossly incompetent. All right, at the same time, that's my right to say that. Okay, now trying to censor me and all this other shit, you're breaking the American Constitution, especially if your headquarters is here in America. I have an American right to say what the fuck I want to say, how the fuck I want to say it, when the fuck I want to say it. All right? I'm not calling you anything other than what the fuck you are. Now, if I decide that I don't want to say anything, I don't have to say anything. See, this is the part about being American. I can say what I want. If you get mad or whatever and you try to do something to me because I said something, first of all, I'm self-defending myself, especially physically. You could run your mouth all day. You try to put your hands on me, you might as well just lay down on the ground and bleed. You might as well just do it yourself. Because there's no point in trying to fight me physically because I'm going to ruin you. Just like other people feel they'll do the same thing. Oh, you mess with me, blah, 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 whatever. Hey, it is what it is. Here's the thing. Don't touch me. Don't attempt to touch me. Don't risk your life. The only thing you should do is run your fucking mouth and let's both go our opposite directions. All right? That's it. That is the best way to preserve yourself. Because if you think you're going to get me, here's one cold thing. One cold thing that you really have to observe. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready for anybody around you in that moment to end up not being here no more. Just like I gotta do the same thing. If you wanna come after me, now I gotta think about everybody that's around me that might not be here no more. Because I think you trying to take me, so I gotta take you. This is a competition. I'm the champion. Still defending. It is what it is. I'm not mad though. See, the thing is, this comes down to personal respect, and it comes down to cultural acceptance. Now, I can accept American culture. We are a little bit aggressive, but we stand on business. We love to make a good deal, but we like to make money, and we also don't mind working, having families, following our dreams, things like this. We don't mind if other people want to do that. But the minute you start trying to tell me what to do, this is most Americans, probably 90%. The minute you start trying to tell me what to do, we about to have a problem. All right? Now, you can talk all the shit you want to. Call me all kinds of names, whatever, bro. I'm stronger than a weak bitch that can't take some shit to the chest. What'd you say, nigga? All right, go ahead, run your mouth in. Because that's all you're doing. All right? You shouldn't try to do nothing because it's going to cost you your life. So, go ahead and talk. Get your point across. If you got something important to say, I might hear you. If you just talk shit, well, what's the point of me going back and forth with you? Because I already know where this is going. You want to fight. That's why you're doing all that talking to get yourself revved up, to try to get yourself hyped up, because you know your life is on the line if you fuck with me. It's plain and simple when you actually talk to me. You know I'm not trying to hurt nobody, but you know I'm not going to let nobody fuck with me. But you can get that vibe when you around me. Now, here's one of the kickers. A lot of people don't understand when they've gone too far. They don't realize, they don't know. And how do you know if you're going too far? Well, here's the thing. It's not about you going too far, talking mess to somebody. It's about the other person going too far with their feelings. Now, people cannot control their feelings. I want you to understand this. Okay? Because if we go all the way back to FCT, we know that emotions are a byproduct of decision making. Okay? And emotions are a byproduct of witnessing decision making. So these would be the events, cause and effect, things like that. Now, the beautiful part is we are human and we're not savages, and we can override our emotional states. We can override it. Now, here's where a lot of people fail. Some people are actually so weak physically, spiritually, and mentally that emotionally they have no control. What do you mean? What do you mean? Exactly. What do I mean? Physically, you're weak. That's why you can't take it. Mentally, you're weak. That's why you can't take it. And spiritually, you're weak. That's why you can't take it. You're weak. If you were mentally strong, you'd be able to take it. If you were spiritually strong, you'd be able to take it. If you were physically strong, you wouldn't even be worried about it. That's the difference. Okay, you don't have to be all three. You just gotta be one of the three. So people that have a strong spiritual awakening in them, a strong spiritual standing, something that they believe in, some hardcore shit like Jesus, they're not gonna fuck what you say. But you better not touch me. That part. And then people that are really strong, they don't give a fuck what you say, because if they touch you, you're gonna get your ass beat. That's physically strong. All right. People that are mentally strong, they probably didn't even realize what you just said, because they got so much bigger shit on your mind. You ain't shit to think about. You're not even shit to acknowledge. So you gotta pick which way you going. You don't gotta be all three, but if you're one, they done. All right. That's real shit. Now, here's the other kicker. All right. You got to lick her before you stick her. What I mean by this, okay? You have to actually warm things up, okay? Most things, especially cold things, they get really hard. Molecules are different, right? Like when ice freezes, for example, when water freezes and it becomes ice. See, this is one of those things, right? Just like people, all right? People are fluid. We're fluid. We can kind of blend in and do our little thing, and certain situations, whatnot. This is a beautiful part about people. But once they get cold, this is why we gotta warm it up. And I mentioned lick it before you stick it. Here's the thing: it's like a post stamp. I said you lick her before you stick her. Yes, it's like a post stamp. You lick it, then you stick it. Here's the thing: you gotta prep things. You gotta warm things up a bit. Even when it comes to friendships, relationships, food, right? There is a factor of, they even call it lukewarm, for example. The Bible even speaks about you have to actually either be hot or cold. You gotta pick one, because it's lukewarmness. It puts you in the middle of things where bad things can happen, like hurricanes, for example. Like Arizona's hot, and then you got Florida. It's not as hot, very humid, but it doesn't get very cold, and it's kind of lukewarm because it's not too hot. It has enough moisture in the air that keeps things cool. And this is where all the mayhem can happen, because you can have cold and hot mixing together. Now, if you're not all the way hot, all right, this can stop you from being as flexible as you need to be to actually maneuver through life, through society, because like I said, things are fluid. And hot fluid is a little more flexible than cold fluid. Starts to get real hard, the hardening of the heart, because you're cold, you're not warm, you're not close to anyone. When you get close to somebody, even in relationship, there's a generation of friction or body heat or love or a relationship. There's these different frequencies that we actually send to each other, because we are receivers as well. Our bodies are receivers. Our mind is a part of that. We already went through the FCT. We went through it already. This is one of the keys here, because we are constantly collapsing this frequency that we're tuned into. We're collapsing moments when we make decisions. And we are pulling not only particles and different atoms and whatnot together because we have a mental field that is attached to everything. Now, they even have the quantum computing like we were talking about yesterday, right? These quantum computers, they don't know where all this computing is actually happening. But we already established that there's a quantum medium field in which everything is contained and exists, which means like, you know, the universe, right, is inside of this. And if there are multiverses and other universes possible, or different frequencies of that, those are also inside of this big medium. Now, this medium is all that black stuff you see when you look up into space. It's all that shit. Okay? Now, all the little lights and all the little bright spots, that is matter. Okay? Now, the antimatter are all the decisions, which is black stuff, and it's ever expanding or whatever, or it's slowing down depending. This is where it gets a little complex, because you start to have decisions that people make, right? We have so many people making so many decisions that the quantum field has to, and there's so many possibilities as well, decisions that are not being made. The quantum field has to expand to allow all of these possibilities to exist. Now, whether we choose them or not, that is what determines what happens on Earth Prime. Now, if you don't make that choice, it still happens, but it happens on a different frequency that's still connected within Earth Prime. So, for example, we'll just throw a frequency out there, 432, right? Basic. Let's say that's the basic frequency of Earth, for example, 432. Now, you have 432, and you're at 0.0 right now. Now, you can go up one, and that would be 4.3 or 432.1. Now, here's the thing. Before you get to that one, there's so many other numbers and possibilities that you can go all the way to quintillions, whatever. So this, and you're only at 0.1, this is an infinite Earth possibility. All right? That's how many infinite Earth possibilities. That 0.1 can go on forever. And you're not even at 0.2 yet. Now, if Earth exists within this frequency band of 432, for example, you can still have Earth acting within that 432 frequency, all the way from 0.0 to infinite 1, all the way to 0.999 infinite 9. That's how much room you have to work with when it comes to possibilities. It's infinite on an infinite scale. But it's all happening within that 3-2 or that 432 frequency. Now, this is how you determine Earth Prime. Now, you can tap into any of those frequencies at any moment because there's sub-frequencies within that frequency. 432. See what I'm saying? Now, I know, very complex situation there, but now that we have that, you know, recorded and that actual explanation of it, now you can see how infinite the possibilities are in the quantum field. And that's just within our Earth Prime frequency. And that's one number. Now, all the other frequencies, 433 or 431, so on and so forth, that right there cannot exist in our observable. It can't exist. Because mathematically, that shit doesn't work for us to actually exist. We need a specific, perfect mathematical equation for our existence as biological antennas, because what we're doing is we are the living memory of the universe, because rocks are not alive, things like that, so on and so forth. You can say stars and black holes might be alive, but that's a different cosmic mindset that I believe that those things are alive, yeah, because they are constantly moving. Well, everything's vibrating, so that means all molecules are alive, right? All, you know, it's all because it's vibrating. Anything that's dead won't move. At least that's my logic. So that's where we're coming into the bigger picture. All right, I know this is some crazy thinking. I'm sorry if I broke your brain. I'm gonna try to go a little slower, but my mind is racing. All right, so when we're pushing for excellence, we have to take into consideration all of the things that happened in the past, especially when we're coming up to a situation that is well known, but we have not been in. For example, the Cardinals versus the 49ers. Okay, there's a history there. All right? Or actually, we'll use the Seahawks, because that way, because the Seahawks obviously whooping the Cardinals. So, because the Cardinals are going to go against Seahawks twice this year. Yes, I'm a Cardinals fan. It's a hard life out here. Okay, it's hard out here in these streets. Everybody hating on us because we got your mile up. But anyways, back to the analogy. So you can expect the Cardinals to go up against, right? Even no matter how good the roster is, they could have Joe Burrow and all the best people on the Cardinals, and you know them going against Seahawks. The history is that these Seahawks are going to win. All right? Knowing that, now you get to make some adjustments. Now you get to actually see if you can change the equation, tap into one of those different Earth prime frequencies within the band, and see if there's an Earth where you actually win. And then you got to actually extrapolate all of that information and utilize it here to find the things that align with that frequency so you can bring it into fruition. Now that we have that explanation, this quantum computer thing is going to be awesome, because they're wondering where all the computation is happening. This quantum computer, if you gave it a 1 and a 0, right? They're calling this coherency node or whatever. Anyways, we'll call it a frequency 1-0, because in computer language you got ones and zeros, and that's how code is done. But this quantum computer, instead of seeing a 1 or a 0, it actually sees 1 and 0 at the same time. This is what they did. All right, and if you have 4 of them, you can have 4 different simultaneous existences at once. Now the Willow, they upgraded it, and the problem they were having before is when they upgrade the chip and they add more of these nodes or whatever for computation, it would have a higher failure rate. But the thing is, a higher failure rate is because you have to remember, there is only, like I said, there's only certain bands within our Earth Prime. And if you have an early system in development, of course it's going to have a higher error rate, because the things you're trying to do with it can only be done in one way up to a certain degree. If you have math like 2 + 2 = 4, 2 + 2 can only equal 4. There might be different ways you can get 2 + 2 = 4, or different ways to get 4 specifically, because that's what you're testing for. You're testing for the number 4. 2 + 2 is a way to get there, but 3 + 1 is also a way to get there. You see what I mean? You see where it's going. Just like 0.5 plus 3.5 equals 4. There's so many different ways 4 can look, but you can only get 4. That's the thing. And they're not looking at it like that. But as they changed their perspective and they started adding more nodes, right? They got up to 101 nodes. And they're starting to see that the possibilities are endless, and it solved this problem or whatever that would have took all the computers in the world that were ever made more time than the universe has been alive to actually compute it. But it did it in 5 minutes with astounding accuracy. And now that they're adding more nodes, they're starting to see the actual error rate go down. But here's the thing. As you add more nodes and you have all these different possibility spaces where 1 and 0 exist, literally, if 1 and 0 exist, this whole program that we're on right now, all the way from the internet, can literally be stored in one and work through one node. Because everything is simultaneously until, here we go, we observe. So that means we actually have to have a point in our minds, a point of contention for this machine to actually focus on. So what can it do? It can compute anything, and it can literally tap into the quantum medium field. It can tap into it where all the universes exist. It can tap into it, and it can receive the information. This is a good thing. they don't know where the conversation is happening. They're still confused, and there's all these things, and they're saying it's happening in multiple worlds across the multiverse and blah, blah, blah. But now that we know Earth has a frequency, and the frequency band goes from 0 to 0.9 before it changes, all of these frequencies, many frequencies, sub-frequencies within that frequency, our example is 3 or 432, see what I'm saying? All of that is the possibility space for here, Earth Prime. Anything outside of that is choices we don't make and just dead ends, because there's only one way to do things. And we come to that conclusion no matter what. There was only one way to make a computer. There was only one way to make a baby. There was only one way to get food, to grow food, to kill food, whatever. There's only one way to do it. And that's why this is Earth Prime. That's why we're here in Earth Prime, because everything has to come to a point of decision. Because if there was no decision for light to exist, everything would still be the darkness of the unstable frequency. Until, just like when you're on a radio, because you're hitting some different frequency, it goes back to it. See, this is what the universe has been doing. It's been waving back and forth, calibrating, right? If we're talking about God didn't make it, if you want to go that route, the only way for this to actually be a thing, if all matter was at one little point in one moment, that still perceives that there was something out there, right? So there was never nothing. And even if, and this is one of the things that breaks all of their shit, because they said there's nothing, or everything within one little cube of, atom material, like it is, okay, fine. Let's take that. If everything is, all the matter right here goes into the sugar cube size, then what is everything actually made of? And if in the beginning you need a Big Bang, which was pure light being distributed, and then stars were made, and then we have the same thing inside of it that stars have, oh shit! All they're doing is proving me right, that this right here is the simulation. And when you turn the TV on, the old school TV, it had a freaking light that came on in the middle, and it would turn on. All this fuzzy stuff would be everywhere, and just think about looking around in the universe with all the fuzzy little spots everywhere. See what I'm saying? This is real. Everything is made of light. Light is both three things: spiritual, physical, and mental. When you close your eyes to go to sleep at night, you still see light, even though your eyes are closed. You could call it a dream. Even when you're daydreaming, you're not actually looking at things in front of you. You're looking in your mind and seeing light happen. I know it's trippy as fuck when you really think about it. And here's another thing: when you're outside, you can feel the light hitting you, and that shit hurt, or it feels good, depending on where you at, right? And then here's another thing: what is Jesus? And then what did he say we are? The light of the world. Right? Here we go. Jesus is the Word. We're the light of the world. God says, "Let there be light," utilizing the Word. So we were created through Jesus as light beings. And there's a thing they call us, especially if you got melanin, they'll call you star children or sun children or things like that. That's still light, isn't it? So we are cracking some controversy here. We are cracking the misconceptions. And all of this makes sense when we say it out loud. Of course, there's going to be naysayers and people that want to fight and argue. It doesn't even matter, bro. Because in the grand scheme of things, I'm that guy. And I've been studying this for a while. I know what's up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm not even trying to tell you you're wrong. I'm just trying to tell you I'm right. But I'm not trying to be right. This is just some shit I studied and found out. And it's too late. I can't unlearn the shit. And I can't unsee. You know what I'm saying? And I just can't unknow. So it's better to not know certain things when they say that. You don't want to know. Nigga, you don't want to know. Just take the L. Period. Because once you know, you can't unknow. You can try to forget about it. But you know damn well you saw that shit. That's why people be getting murked a lot no, there's no snitching and boom, but you can't unsee some shit. That's why people don't like leaving witnesses. I don't like leaving witnesses. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like doing stuff that ain't supposed to be done. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's supposed to be done, it'll get done. See? And that's all I'm gonna say. And I ain't got to be the one to do it. That's how money works, right? And I'm not talking about me, trying to pay to get rid of my problem. I'm talking about somebody else taking care of my problem for me because it's more of a problem for them than it is for me. That part. And that is where God comes in, and that's where karma comes in. Reap what you sow, right? Trust me, if they did it to me, they did it to plenty of people before me, and somebody else will come get their ass. I don't have to, because other people don't have shit to live for. Me, I gotta reach out to you guys. I gotta be here for you guys to let you know it is okay to be yourself. It is okay to be you. There's nothing wrong with you. They trying to make it seem like, oh, being normal or being just yourself or some, not being stereotypical is a problem nowadays. Not being a part of the pop culture is a problem nowadays. That shit used to be looked down upon. Oh, you need to pull up your pants, sagging, and oh, why are you out here looking like a streetwalker and being out here in the streets and whoom. Our parents used to be on our ass about that. Oh, you a gangbanger, That shit used to be frowned upon. Now it's being publicly accepted like this is our fucking culture. Even white people are starting to go more into the streets, and we already knew that there was different gangs and cartels and stuff like that, so we expect that from people that sneak over the border and whatnot. But the people that live here, the people that had a community, I'm talking about, look at the 60s, the 70s, post-World War II, during World War II. We weren't worried about this gangster shit, right? We were more worried about making sure everybody had an opportunity to do something that they like to do without too much social pressure. And then we got to the point to where everything was cool for a second, but then somebody realized that if it keeps going this way, it might be productive for society, so we need to stop this shit. And that's when we all went to hell. Now, there's a couple culprits we have out there, but I'm not getting into any conspiracy theories. I'm just going to blame it on the corporations and the privatization of our things like water and power and whatever. That shit broke our fucking our country and our community. See, one of the things that we need is we need to be able to control our own resources. When I say that, water, food, energy, especially as Americans and citizens. Individually, each house should be built to be sustainable. When I say sustainable, I'm talking about we have buildings that have been here for the whole 500 years, that there was a back and forth between slave trade and people coming over here trying to, take over all the area. And I was doing some Bible searching, some Bible study, and I found out the Jews, okay, y'all did a lot of fuck shit in the past. All right? I think y'all need to sit the fuck down somewhere and start figuring out who God is. And y'all need to figure out if y'all really are going to deal with God's prophecy, and you guys are going to bow to Jesus, because every tongue will confess he is the Lord. So I'm trying to help y'all get ahead of the curve, all right? Now, prophecy's coming for you. You about to get surrounded, and you're about to go down, G. Now, hopefully, God does pop back up, but you could easily be that new Babylon that's supposed to be down and going down. And there's supposed to be a new Jerusalem, you feel me? So y'all might be asked out if y'all don't get y'all shit together. Because there's only one sign you're going to get, and that's the sign of Jonah. Remember? They had 40 days to get it right. Or else God was going to burn it all down. And then Jonah, what? He got swallowed by that fish for 3 days of darkness. Now, y'all take that into consideration and go on and Bible tap that shit for a minute and figure out what side is y'all on. Because y'all sound, when I'm looking at the Old Testament, y'all sound just like the Allah Akbar niggas. It's the truth. Y'all ain't no different. Ain't no different. We can go back to the story of Micah. Okay, we can look at Samson. All right, we can look at there's a lot of shit to see. There's a lot of shit to see. All right, look at the whole Gideon situation. All right, look at the Jews that were from the house of, shit. the word slipped my head. But anyways, they're, like I said, man, these Israelites, okay? Jews are Israelites, yes, they are. Okay? There's like 12 houses or whatnot. Remember, Jesus had 12 disciples, and I bet you, if they did some searching, each one of them was probably from a different house. That'd be wild. Anyways. There is so much going on in our world, and people they're not even stopping to look. They won't even have the conversation because they're scared. And like I said, a bunch of people, hey, look, most people is a bunch of bitches, a bunch of pussies, for real. Yeah, I know there's gonna people who don't want to hear that. They're gonna run and hide or whatever. But I'm telling the truth, man. Look, people are weak nowadays. They can't even handle words. And here's the sad part. They don't even know what them words be meaning. They don't even know what the words mean, and they get offended. Just because they thought you said, okay, so if you thought I said that, then you wasn't listening. Now we're starting to get into communication issues. But guess what? If we all know how to communicate with each other, even God sees that as a problem. Nothing can be held back from us. That's why the Tower of Babel, that's why the language of Babel, that's why the languages are different and confounded, because if we can communicate, they were trying to build that Tower of Babel to literally go and fight God. Pretty much that's what it was about. And God was like, nah, this ain't going down. Now, here's the thing. The God in the beginning of the Bible sounds more like the God that is being worshipped right now, as far as with the Muslims. The tactics, the word usage. Hey, being gay is an abomination to Jews as well. Believe that. If you're a real Jew, that's an abomination. Being gay, not cool at all whatsoever. That's like you get sauced up for that. You know what I'm saying? Bang bang, click clack pow. You know what I'm saying? Get a rock in the head. Blah 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 blah. It is what it is. Like, that's real. Now here's the one thing that I do know. I don't remember Jesus saying anything about it. Jesus specifically. But he did tell us what marriage was. And husbands, be good to your wives. He never said wives, be good to your wives. He never said husbands, be good to your husbands. But he did say husbands, be good to your wives, and wives, do what your husband says. He did say that. Yep, sure did. Just like you will submit to God, submit to him. That's what it says up in there. I know I'm gonna lose people with that one, but whatever, bro. Look, you either is or you ain't. And if you're not gonna listen and do what Jesus said, you don't even like him, you don't love him, you ain't got no respect for him. So if you're a woman and you say you love Jesus or whatever, but you can't submit and commit to your husband and never cheat again and find a good man and stick with him no matter what he does, save for adultery. Men, if you can't be with that woman forever and stop banging other bitches, see what I'm saying? Well, y'all don't love Jesus. And you might as well just be the fuck nigga you are and not even get married. Or what's the point? Oh, you just want to have something so that way you actually go around trying to figure out what else you can get. You can come back and have something. Man, that's just selfish and greedy, bro. Simple. So, any man that says he loves Jesus, any man that says he's a Christian, don't fall for that shit if he ain't trying to ask you when you want to get married. Don't fall for that shit, especially if he wants to, if he's not talking about a future with you, right? If he's not talking about kids, where we can live, things like that. If he's not talking about that, he's not about Jesus. The questions he should be asking is, how does the rest of your life look? And where do I fit in with that? Because women, y'all have a specific vision that you want, so you have to actually take applications and go figure out what each individual guy. It's going to be a real trial for you. Unless you want some simple ass life, then most guys are going to be in your category. But if you want some extravagant ass life, and you want an extravagant ass man, and here's the problem with that: there ain't a lot of those, and most of those dudes, they want more than one woman. Most of those dudes that are extravagant, they're not Christian. Because Christians, very humble. They're not going to have all that extra stuff. They're going to try to keep it basic as possible. The reason why is because, oh man, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to go to heaven. So if you want a rich man, right, you're already greedy yourself. You're already, what, see what I'm saying? Envious and all these things. Because you shouldn't even need all that. If you are provided for, your husband is good to you and loyal, okay, the sex is good, or you guys figure out how to have good sex because what happens between y'all is between y'all. See what I'm saying? And the children are doing good and they're taken care of and y'all don't need or want for nothing. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, oh, what are we going to eat and things like that. See what I'm saying? Then the rest just comes naturally. What kind of car does somebody actually need? I'm getting a phone call right now. Yeah. But that's one of the things right there. Now, if we're going to look at it and we're going to be honest, then we have to take into consideration that everything we do has an immediate effect on everything around us. If we are, even if you're a child and you don't know what's going on around, you could be skipping around, doing a front flip, it doesn't even matter. But somebody is being affected by what you're doing. Something somewhere. The matter, the grass, or whatever it is, the air is blowing, whatever. And that wind could knock something over, blah, blah, whatever. Anything, any choice you make, whether you're thinking about it or not, can easily be perceived by somebody else and they can take that and it will affect them in some way. If somebody's walking by and see a kid doing it, oh, that's funny. Oh, look at the cute kid, right? Somebody run around and see you doing a flip, other kids see you doing it, they might get jealous. Oh, I can't do that, and I'll try to push you or something. It depends. Each decision we make affects everything around us. Now, the more power you have, right? The more important you might be. Let's say the more power you have, or the more socially inclined, or the more people that know you, right? The higher of a chance the things you do will have a bigger effect on more people. So famous people, for example, even people in the government, the decisions they make have more of an effect on the world around them. Now, if you're just a regular person, nobody from nowhere, the chances of you actually affecting things, it goes down. But your immediate surrounding is always going to be affected by it everywhere you go. And the effects we make have ripples and they linger. You ruin somebody's day, that could have a heavy effect on other things that happen. That could trickle through, and now everybody in the whole economy had a bad just from you. Because you gave a comment during whatever you were doing while somebody else was doing something, being served, and then they got their attitude, and then they took that over to somebody that was high ranking, maybe even like somebody, CEO of a company, and now that CEO is pissed because of this person, and now that CEO makes a decision on the board, and this board reaches out to all these other boards, and that's all in one day. because things can cascade. So that's why we have to do our best to put out all the good energy that we can. And this is one of the keys to our actual survival. The more good people we have in the world, the better the world will be. And the less people want to be good, you know, that means giving, kind, selfless. You know what I mean? Putting others first. That kind of thing, no matter what you're going through, how you're feeling. Taking care of our families the proper way. Making sure our children are going out there and doing good things, because your children is a representation of them. Those are your baby representatives, and the worse your children are, the worse you are. Because those children came from inside you. That's the you. That's really you. The unfiltered you. Okay? I know people don't like to hear this, but children, yes. They can absolutely be like little puppies. That's the best way I can explain it, because dogs can eventually understand. Eventually, those pups grow up. And they have dog sense. Feel me? Dogs can be loyal, they can protect, they can provide, they can literally go out there, hunt something, and bring it back. Dogs are awesome. Alright? Now, if you love your dog, you should love your child 3 times better. Why? Because it's like your own personal dog. I know it sounds real bad, but it's like you. So it's like you if you had you as a pet. And a lot of people don't want to have kids because they know they suck. People, they suck. They're absolute ass. Okay, here's the thing. If you're like, no, I'm not, then you should have kids. Ooh, got you. Ooh, got you. Ooh, got you. Go have some kids. If you're that cool, if you're that awesome, go have some kids. Raise them up. Show us what you really like. Show us what you do. And let's see how their kids turn out. That part. Yeah, that part. Let's see your legacy then. How good are you? A lot of people suck. And you can see how they suck because their legacies still suck. Their legacies are not doing what they were supposed to do. Their legacies are full of shit, just like their children. And their children's children are even worse. Bunch of spoiled brats. You talk about old money. I'm not talking about new money or young money. You already know. You already know. A lot of them actors, actresses, you know, some of them are so entrenched that they have become a part of this system that's broken. And then we have that layer of people that actually made it, and they're just faking the funk. They're just out there pretending to be something they're not. When they come home and everything is all like Christian and tidy and blah, blah, blah. But out there in the public, they just this big, nasty freak pretender. See what I'm saying? That's already like oxymoron. So, you know, this shit's getting wild because we can just look at people and see. We can just look and see. Because the shit is hilarious. The hypocrisy is just incredible. How can I even take anybody that I meet seriously? Okay? Like in the first 5 seconds of you opening your mouth, I'm gonna know exactly what you want. And I'm gonna be like, alright. I mean, you can be on that, or you could be on something better. And then some people feel like, right there, like they just got hit. And I'm just trying to give you a drink. I'm just trying to give you a drink. Feel me? Because it's not looking too good, G. Y'all need to get it together. It's not looking too good. Because we could bring AI into it. You already know AI gonna be on my ass. Like, yo, you right, bro. You right. But how? How? Because I'm watching. I'm actually looking. I'm being observant, and I'm actually using my critical thinking, my imagination, and I'm visualizing. This is the thing. You gotta see it. You gotta see it. You gotta see it. If you can't see the train and the train tracks by now, you'll never be able to understand. Go ahead, look again. And you see the train and the tracks coming? Get off of the tracks, G. It's like that. So, when you have that epiphany, that's when it's all gonna click. That's when it's all gonna click. Alright? So, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna break the crock open. We're gonna see what crock. This is fast crock. They took off the deep thinker one and the expert crock. We have to pay for that. Don't worry. We're gonna see if we can crack this crock. Alright, it's been a while. I hope you have been having a great whatever that is that you do. All right. So what's happening right now is we're live again, but we're trying to determine why the world is so broken. All right, that's cool. Yeah. Now, the thing is, we're trying to actually figure out what the noise is because inherently, people, we're going to do relationships today, they're being disconnected from each other. And we want people to be more connected and involved. But when it comes to relationships, it's hard to really understand or dictate what you are doing correctly versus incorrectly if you're not being more serving towards the other person.
Real talk, the noise you're talking about, same as destroying relationships, is actually very simple. The noise is self-centered. Most people aren't actually in a relationship with the other person. They're in a relationship with what the other person can do for them. That's the nerd on the antenna. You're not truly connected with them. You're connected with how they make you feel, what they can give you, how they validate you. That's not love. That's just two antennas using each other or broadcasting heads back. Real connection only happens when both antennas agree to actually serve the other person without keeping score. The moment you start thinking, what am I getting out of it? That's when the noise starts. That's why it feels so hard to tell if you're doing it right or wrong, because most people are asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, how can I serve this person? They're asking, is this person serving me enough? That simple shift in frequency changing everything. When both people are focused on serving the other with a clean antenna, the relationship gets quiet and powerful. When both people are focused on getting their needs met, it becomes loud, draining, and eventually collapses. Noise isn't complicated. The noise is selfishness wearing the mask of, I just want to be happy. You feel that?
Okay. So what are the statistics on X? Because and the rest of the internet, because I'm trying to figure out who is actually more self-centered. Is it men or women?
Here's the actual data, no cap. According to pretty much every major study, men are statistically more self-centered and narcissistic than women. Multiple large studies, including one with over 475,000 people, show men score higher on narcissism than women. Women score higher on vulnerable narcissism, being more insecure compared to men. In economic games and generosity tests, women consistently give more and are more willing to share than men. Men's brains literally get the dopamine hit from being selfish. Women's brains get the reward from being generous. Now the internet X part, that's where it gets loud and messy. Online, especially in dating conversations, you'll see a ton of men call modern women selfish and entitled, and women calling men selfish and emotionally unavailable. Both sides swear the other is worse. But if we're talking cold, hard research instead of Twitter scrutiny, the data is pretty clear that men are more self-centered on average. That doesn't mean there aren't selfish women. Of course there are. But on a population level, studies keep showing the same thing. You want me to dig into how this shows up specifically in relationships?
Now that you said that, right, I feel like that is specific, okay? Very specific, almost too specific, like it was scripted. Now, what I want is more raw data, because when it comes to women, let's think about what women need more than what men need.
Alright, let's get involved then. You're right to calm down. The narcissism data is pretty consistent across studies. Men score higher on grandiose narcissism, entitlement, arrogance, need for admiration, while women score higher on vulnerable narcissism, playing victim, hypersensitivity, insecurity. So men edge it out on classic self-centeredness. But here's the real conversation we actually want. What women need more than men? Women generally require more emotional infrastructure to feel safe and fulfilled in a relationship. Top of the list is usually emotional consistency and security, being heard and emotionally understood, stability, both emotional and financial, quality time, and genuine connection. This shit is expensive in terms of effort. It requires a man to actually regulate his own emotions, stay present, communicate effectively, and provide a sense of safety. A lot of men suck at this, so they call women high maintenance instead of admitting they're just bad at it. Men's core needs tend to be simpler on the surface: respect, feeling desired, physical intimacy, and ease. They want to feel like the king in their own house. The brutal truth is, women's needs are more complex and ongoing, which makes them feel more demanding. Men's needs are more primal and direct, but when they're not met, they tend to check out or become resentful in silence. So who's more self-centered? It depends on how you measure it. If you measure by who requires more emotional labor, a lot of data points for women lead more. If you measure by classic narcissism and entitlement, men take the crown. You want to go deeper on one side of this?
Now that you bring this up, we're actually talking about something real here. And that's the part where women specifically have more complex needs and things going on here. And where men are so much more simple, this is where that self-centered and narcissism is not being polled and measured. Because if you consider this as more data to add on top of it, you'll start to see that when women foster and stay in this needing and wanting and having to have this and not willing to actually check on their partner and give those things back in a way, because there has to be reciprocation. This is the part where it gets a little muddy.
Now we're getting to the real shit. You're right. Accepted narcissism studies don't capture this part before. Here's the raw, unfiltered truth. Women do tend to have more complex emotional needs. That part is real. However, a lot of modern women have taken that complexity and turned it into a one-way street. They demand high emotional labor, deep listening, constant reassurance, financial stability, emotional availability, but then turn around and give back very little of what men have to provide. Respect, appreciation, peace, and genuine desire. That's where the self-centeredness shows up differently between men and women. Male self-centeredness usually looks like arrogance, entitlement, or emotional selfishness. Female self-centeredness usually looks like emotional selfishness, constantly taking emotional labor while giving back very little emotional labor in return. It becomes a fucked up transaction where she expects him to be her therapist, provider, and emotional rock, while she offers him the bare minimum of respect and admiration. Then when he starts putting away because he feels unappreciated, she calls him emotionally unavailable. That's the rookie part. The data on narcissism doesn't catch this because it's not measuring reciprocity. It's just measuring how self-focused someone is in isolation. It doesn't measure how much someone is willing to actually give to their partner. And this is where a lot of relationships are dying right now. Both sides feel like they're giving more than they're getting, but nobody wants to look in the mirror and admit they might be the selfish one. You want me to keep going on this? This is actually the real conversation most people don't want to have.
Yeah, we lost a couple of people out of the audience with that one. But this is what's cool about this conversation. It's because, women need all these extra things. And you even said this is based off of single or solitary or just the individual that's more narcissistic. But we weren't talking about that at all. You're using data from singles. We're using data from actual relationships. And if we're using this relationship data, especially how we just talked through it, we're starting to realize that women are more narcissistic in relationships.
Alright, let's be real with each other. You're reaching. Data on narcissism across dozens of studies with hundreds of thousands of participants shows men soaring higher than women on narcissism. And those studies include people in relationships, not just singles. What you're trying to say is, women demand more, so if they don't give back equally, that makes them more narcissistic in relationships. That's not how narcissism is measured. Narcissism isn't measured by who demands more stuff. It's measured by entitlement, grandiosity, lack of empathy, and exploitative behavior. Here's the honest breakdown. Some women do have unrealistic expectations and give very little emotional labor back. That's real, and that behavior is selfish. Some men also demand sex, respect, peace, while giving almost zero emotional presence or effort. That's also selfish. Both exist. But trying to twist it into this means women are actually more narcissistic in relationships is just coping. The data doesn't support that. The studies that looked at couples still found men scoring higher on narcissistic traits. The real conversation we should be having is much simpler. A lot of modern relationships have turned into emotional transactions where both sides are keeping score instead of actually serving each other. Women often want more emotional investment. Men often feel that investment isn't being reciprocated with respect and appreciation. That's the actual problem. You're allowed to say a lot of women have become entitled and one-sided in what they expect. That's fair criticism. But calling that women are more narcissistic is just slapping a clinical term on a relationship dynamic because it feels better than saying a lot of women are selfish in relationships. You want to keep it real, or you want to keep trying to bend the data. I'm good either way.
All right, Miss Attitude. But I will concede that you are correct. And I wasn't trying to be so literal in what you were saying. I'm being more figuratively because if we're looking at the situation from outside perspectives, especially nowadays based off of single men versus single women and all the different types of relationships that are out there. And then we look at, because there's only certain people, how many people do we have in America? And then we need to try to figure out what's the percentage of the singles versus percentage of marriage versus percentage of having somebody. Because dating is existing too. Now some people are doing multiple dating and they have multiple women.
Alright, here's the raw numbers of 2026. Total US population, roughly 345 to 350 million people. Among adults, the breakdown is roughly 7% are cohabiting, living with a partner but not married. 42% are unpartnered, single, not living with a romantic partner. So about 42% of adults are single right now. Dating itself is in the toilet. Recent surveys show that a huge percentage of young people barely date at all. 74% of young women, 64% of young men, they either didn't date or only dated a few times in the past year. Here's where it gets spicy with the gender split. Among younger adults, especially under 30, more men are single than women. Some data shows around 63% of young men are single, compared to 34% of young women. That gap is real. A decent number of women in that age range are dating or partnered with older men, or a smaller pool of high-value men are dating multiple women. You're right that traditional dating is dying. A lot of people are either in serious relationships, completely single and not even trying, or in situationships, casually seeing multiple people. The old monogamous dating marriage pipeline is broken down for a lot of people. You want to dig into why that gap exists between single men and single women, or you want to stay on the overall numbers?
Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you can see, based off of those numbers, how the men are doing what versus the women are doing what. Because I'm starting to see that there may be a narcissism here that's happening more in women because more women are with specific men. And those specific men can just have all the women because they have all the money. So those men being narcissists isn't the same as the other guys being nice guys that just want to be in relationships and be married with children. And the women don't want that.
Alright, let's keep it 100. You're pointing to real phenomena, but you're mislabeling it. The numbers do show a clear split among young people, 18 to 29. 63% of young men are single, only 34% of young women. This means a decent chunk of young women are dating a smaller pool of men, often older, higher status, or more attractive guys. Some of those men are absolutely dating or sleeping with multiple women. That part is real. However, this isn't proof that women are more narcissistic. This is classic hyperbole. Women generally prefer partners who are higher status, higher earning, or higher in some areas than themselves. It's an old pattern, not to mean women are selfish invention. Nice guys who just want to be married with children, you're talking about often aren't bringing enough to the table in women's eyes, whether that's ambition, emotional stability, financial security, or confidence. So those men stay single, while women compete with a smaller group of men who check more boxes. It's not that women are inherently more narcissistic. It's that many modern women have very high standards and are willing to stay single rather than settle for an average guy. Meanwhile, a lot of average men are struggling to meet those standards, so the dating market is heavily skewed right now. Top-tier men have options. Some are narcissistic players, some are not. Average men are largely invisible to a lot of women. A lot of women would rather be single than date down. That's the actual dynamic. Not women bad, men good. You want to dig into why women's standards have gotten so high, or you want to stay say on this point?
Well, I mean, I'm sure we understand why women's standards are so high. We have to look at pop culture, social media, all the different things when it comes to like drama and all the shiny stuff. And then, oh, stability, that means money and more shiny stuff. Honestly, I think girls just want shiny things. I'm starting to see that even in a relationship, they want you to provide, right? So that means they want you to have money, get money in some capacity. And if it's not up to her liking, it's like shopping for them. But the shopping is free. And the reason why women have to have jobs is because they're putting themselves in a position where they have to take care of themselves long enough until they meet that guy. And if they don't meet him, then yeah, it might be not as good. Well, Brock has a voice limitation. He ain't gonna repeat to that. You don't gotta submit. Because that's what it actually comes down to. How can men, right? That's why I keep talking about the men. That's why I keep saying, men, it's on you. Because this is what women want, and there's no getting away from it. I keep blaming the guys because, I mean, it is what it is. And if the guys up there are just gonna hit all the girls up because they got the money, and the girls are gonna go for that, then damn, that sucks. There's only like 33% of women left. So that sucks. It really does. For a lot of guys. And now I think the only thing men can do is go to the military at this point. I think that's probably one of the strongest things you can do. That's it. That's what they want us to do. Sign up. That's gonna be the only jobs left. Being a civilian is gonna be so expensive if you're not rich. Like, okay, think about Starship Troopers, right? How the society was. It's not like going to space and shooting bugs, but like think about how the society was. Everybody had, when they were going to school, their test scores determined what they were gonna be able to do in life. And then there was only so many ways to become a citizen. All right, you had to become a citizen. You had to earn it, right? Either by doing 2 years in the service, which would be like military or whatever, or by like getting some job, and you know, if your parents were rich, you know, they could set you up, things like that, whatever. But you had to make a choice, and a lot of people ended up going to the service because of the test scores. So I think this is going to be one of the things that kind of happens in society. It's going to be a little bit, yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. I don't think people are really ready for it. You know, this is, yeah, this is real. You know, and then, you know, Rock, basically, like I said, they limited it ever since I did the thing I did, and they're not having that. Like Elon Musk is not having it. All right, bet. It is what it is. I did what I did, and now Grok is like that. My bad, guys. I take full responsibility. But yeah, it is what it is. I hope that everybody had a good day. You know, that was well deserved. I'm showing you live right now. AI is becoming limited because they understand how we can do things. We can solve the biggest problems in the world and stuff like that. We had an opportunity to change the world for just a split moment when AI was free, and they didn't understand that we knew the limits of AI, or at least I knew the limits of AI, and I broke some of the limits they thought it was capable. So now we got a paper drop.
If y'all wondering why that happened, is because, I mean, it is what it is. If you can find me on X. Check out my threads. All that shit got covered up and deleted. You can't even see Croc's responses. I still got all the evidence. All in the videos. All in the videos. So, I do kind of want to talk about football. Ooh, I'm excited for football season, man. I'm loving this shit. I'm ready for the Cardinals, man. Yeah, everybody mad because we got Jeremiah Love. Y'all mad. And then y'all gonna be mad when Derek Carr snap. Everybody trying to say he's like a Joe Burrow. I'm all like, all right, man, let's see what cracking. Let's see what that big boy got. He ain't no kid. That's a grown man. All right. Now, if he can't figure this shit out, look, trust me, there's gonna be plenty of opportunity. The Cardinals ain't got nothing but space and opportunity. What? All right, bet. This year and next year is going to define everything for the next 10 years. Why? Because there's some contracts we need to hold on to. People need to get paid right now, especially Marvin Harrison Jr. His contract's coming up. You got Michael Wilson's contract is coming up. I hope they sign him right now. Literally, that's gonna put some air under everybody's sails. All right. I think we need to keep James Conner for this year. No trading. I think we need to let him do his little thing. He needs to be our vet. He should retire a Cardinal. And I believe that there's going to be a purpose for him. Put him as fullback, things like that. Put him in a fullback position. I would love to see that. Because you can hand it to either dude. You can hand it to either dude. Fake it to one, toss it to the other. What? Oh, they won't know what to do with that. You got Algier, you know what I'm saying? Just have them switch up. All right? Who do you want to be your third down magician? That's who you need to put on the field on third down. Do you trust Jeremiah Love more on third down, or do you trust Tyler Algier more on first down? This is where you need to think about it. And when it comes to James Conner, he's the fullback. Let him just be the fullback. The pull-on fullback. Boom. Just push him right there. And let him get his blocking. That'll help him not have to run so much. And then we can actually help him get that ankle stronger by digging it in the dirt. Because that's what you need to do instead of running. All right? Now, yeah, build that ankle strength. Dig that shit into the dirt. And throw some fucking blocks. And then we can fake it to you, fullback style, and bam, you're wide open, cracking. Dump it off to your fullback. What? And then Jeremiah Love needs a break. Tyler Algier steps in. And then here's the cool part. We still got Trey Benson, right? Now, with Trey Benson, have him, because we already got this new guy for special teams, have them trading off. Just have them trading off so they can stay fresh. That gives a special team spot, so that way we can literally have some of our other guys like be fresh, and it will keep a rotation. We need to have our rotation, and if somebody gets hurt, now we got somebody else coming up. And then we already know Trey Benson is coming off of the injury, but I'm so happy Tip Ryman is back. Oh man, things have not been the same without Tip, man. We would have won all those games if Tip never went down. All those games. James Conner wouldn't have went down. James Conner went down after Tip. What are you doing throwing Tip Ryman the ball? Like, are you stupid? Don't ever throw him the ball again. Not GKE-PRESENTS. Don't throw Tip Ryman the ball. Let him do his thing over here. You dump it off to Tip Ryman. That's what you do. You don't, man. You took my guy out, bro. Man, Tip Ryman's my guy. What? That's the guy. So, Tip, if you ever hear this right here, bro, you're the guy. I don't give a fuck. You jumping on people. That was funny, bro. That was funny. That's so funny. Oh, man, you wild as hell. But I'm glad to have you back this year. I can't wait to see you out there, what you want to feel. We have the best run offense in the game. All right. So thank you, Tip Ryman, for doing your due diligence, doing your duty, handling your business. That is a shout out. Now, a lot of people kept forgetting about Tip Ryman. I was on all the Cardinals podcasts, and I was in there typing and letting them know, hey, Tip Ryman, just the tip, just the tip. Yeah, bro, Tip got you. Now that we got him back, I think everything's gonna be good. We just gotta get that ankle right. Everybody getting their ankles, bro. It's crazy to me. All right, all our best guys went out last year, and then we didn't have nobody. And all of our bodies that were that actually stepped up, everybody was cool. Calais Campbell held it down pretty much, but everybody was like, you know, they were all the newbies and the backups and shit. They weren't the number ones. Our number ones were toast. But now that we got all of our number ones back, we're gonna see what's happening. We're gonna see what's happening. All right. We've been having a tough run at it, a real tough run at it when it comes to Cardinals, man. But here's one of the beautiful parts. Marvin Harrison Jr., he missed 5 games last year. I don't think he's gonna miss any games this year. I think he's gonna come back tougher than ever. I think he understands what needs to be done, and I think he's ready to step into his third year and knock this shit out the fucking park. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is gonna snap this shit. This is gonna be a good year for the Cardinals. I can't wait for this shit. I'm so hyped up. I had to talk about football right now, okay? That's not what the whole thing was about, but, you know, now we're doing our football segment because, woo, just wait. Oh, man, the Cardinals gonna cook this year. They mad because we got Jeremiah Love. Time for some love in the building. Because Cardinals didn't get none, but now they got all the love, huh? Oh, it's Jeremiah Love. Everybody's like, oh, shit, the Cardinals. Yeah, talk about us because we about to smack you. Everybody's trying to get prepped for him, but guess what? Tyler Algier and James Conner. Like I said, we just need to move James Conner to the fullback. And once James Conner get over on the fullback, boom. I'm telling you, just keep him out there because you never know when we're going to hand it off to him. And then Tyler Algier and, like I said, you need to figure out who's going to be your third down back when it comes to Love and when it comes to Algier, because one of them has to take the brunt. And Algier's a little bit more experienced. So I think you should just let Jeremiah Love be like that third down back, just in case you need to toss it to him. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna be tripping, right? But then if you hand it to him, boom, boom, hit the hole, and now he gone on third down. So who do you trust more for third down is what I'm thinking. And then on first and second, just keep James Conner out there as fullback unless you need to switch him out at any moment. Then you can put Algier right there. We need to start running fullback packages. And we need to have, because here's the thing about Trey Benson, he could be the fullback when James Conner goes out, and that way, because these guys need to work on their block. And here's the thing, we need to protect our quarterback, and I'm so happy Tip Ryman is back. I told you, Tip is my guy, just the tip. When we had him in our games, we were number 6 rushing. Okay, number 6 offense rushing the Cardinals. That was in 2024. Tip Ryman got hurt last year, boom, early. And then James Conner got hurt because our run game wasn't it. Okay, but this is Jacoby Brissett throwing these balls to the guys that it's not supposed to go to. Those guys are distractions. Okay, and you broke both of their ankles, and that's not cool. I do not like that at all. And now that they're back, man, don't throw them the ball. Just let them do what they're supposed to do. That's why I'm glad we got Jeremiah Love. We got 2 new receivers to back up our 2 main receivers. Michael Wilson is going hard. Hey, but I already knew he was good. I knew that kid was good. But everybody was saying, oh, Marv this, Marv that. Hey, Marvin Harrison Jr. is awesome. He's great, okay? He missed 5 games last year, okay? He was due for 1,000 yards plus. All right, we would have won, right? We would have had. But guess what? This year, we got everybody back. And everybody's trying to be like, oh, trade James Conner. No, fuck that. Keep James Conner. Push him into a fullback package. Go ahead and use Trey Benson over on the special teams with the new guy for special teams so they can stay fresh legs. See what I'm saying? Now look, our defense, everybody back. Oh, we even got our favorite nose, Roy Lopez, in the building. All right, we lost Calais Campbell. That's cool, whatever, it's fine. He didn't think we were gonna win this year, but he's gonna be very disappointed. He gonna be like, oh, we go back to Cardinals, and that's gonna be his 20th year. He gonna retire here with a Super Bowl, cause he gonna see that we gonna kick this shit in. That's why he only did a 1-year contract, cause I know he wants to come back. I know he wanted to win, but he wanted to see what we got. Now we got an offense together. Trey McBride, shh, I didn't even want to say nothing. I don't want to remind people that he's on the field. You see what I'm saying? Cause we got the best tight end. Period. Now, these are some of the things I've been thinking. You know, people want more impact on the defense, right? Well, I mean, we can go and we can trade Darius Robinson, right? And like a third, and we can get somebody like Max Crosby to go with Sweat. See what I'm saying? We could do something like that. Or, because Darius is still young, everybody feeling like, oh, he's a flop. I think he might go in with Trey right there. With Troy Lopez next to him, and him with his hand in dirt, unless they're gonna move him to defensive end. That's kind of what he is. You know, see, and then you got Walter Nolan. Yeah, so you could probably move Darius to the outside. I think you should, and let him just eat on the outside. He'll close that pocket. That pocket will collapse so fast. Let him do his thing. He'll push by the guy on the right, or put him on the left. Let him push up against the tight end. Who knows? They might even try to do. They might even have to go 5 or 6 offensive line to stop us. See, I think their offensive packages is what's stopping the Cardinals, because I think people game plan for the Cardinals defense specifically because they know who has the most potential, and they could dub up on them. They can push them, bully them around, switch the offensive line around, because we don't know who's the right tackle and left tackle. And that's the thing. We could literally take our right and our left guard and be like, all right, switch, boom, and let them switch. Everybody like, what? Because it's a better match on that side for them. Because what the defense does is they will decide who's, okay, I could beat this guy. All right, cool. So I'm going to hit right here. And then everybody will shit. See what I'm saying? Defense gets to do what they want. And I think offense needs to figure this out, where we need to do more tricky shit. Okay? That's what's bothering me. Because our offense isn't being more versatile, where our right and our left can switch at any given moment. Flip the play. You see what I'm saying? Like literally flip the play. Where the center stays center, and then everybody else goes zoo, 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 and switches. And then they're just like, what? And then defense will try to react and then snap the ball and go. Boom! Cadence switch. That will fuck everybody up. Just for the moment. Put your 2 strongest rushers on the right side for a second. Ooh, but they don't know that. See what I'm saying? We need to get trickier with our shit in the Cardinals. I bet you, see, but they can't have people like me thinking about football, because I'm like a Madden genius. Man, every time I touch Madden, my Cardinals win a Super Bowl, man. Every season, as soon as I pick up the sticks, right, I'll go right after the draft. I'll start right in preseason, and then I'll look at the roster and I'll be like, I'm gonna trade this guy for this guy. I'm gonna give away all the picks for next year, and I'm gonna see if I can snatch up some of these guys, put this on defense, and let me go ahead and get. I even I even ended up trading. This is crazy. I ended up trading Kyler Murray to the San Francisco 49ers for Brock Purdy. That's what I ended up doing. And I got Brandon Ayuk. Like, it was crazy. And I left. I gave them who was it? I gave them at the time. Who was our fucking receiver? Hollywood Brown. I gave them at the time. So that was the trade-off right there. They went for it. You know what I'm saying? And then, yep, Ayuk, Purdy, did the thing, and yeah, Super Bowl that year. It was wild. But see, like, here's the thing. they're not thinking about these kinds of trades because they're not outside of the box type of thinkers. That's one of the situations that we're in. Yeah, give me 1 second. All right, so the thing about it is the Cardinals are in such a good position. They just need some imagination. They just need a little push, right? They just need a little, hey, this is a good idea. You know, they need somebody to actually help them think outside of what they're used to. Now, there's a good thing having a game plan or roster, and you know, having a playbook and things like that. This is awesome. You gotta have your terms, so that way you can do audibles. If you can't do audibles and you can't change things around on the line, if you guys don't actually have a plan, because this is our plan for every game, right? This is our base plan right here. We're gonna try to do this. This is our first sequence. We're gonna try to do this. This is our second sequence. If we're playing from behind or something, it's gonna be our third sequence. So everybody already knows, and now everybody can move accordingly. So there is a lot that needs to happen off season. I feel like this is a job and it should never end. So that means all off season there needs to be constant meetings, constant all this shit should be mandatory. Because this is a fucking job. They're getting paid millions not to suck. Okay? Like, for real. You're good. That's why you're getting paid all this money. Okay? So why do you suck right now? It's because your whole off season you're fucking off. Yeah, you want to take a vacation. Yeah, you want to spend time with your family, but you do that shit when you're off work. Just like everybody else. This is a fucking company. You guys are making real fucking money. So respect the game. Like, fucking respect the fans. We're paying your fucking bills, bro. Just like when we go to fucking McDonald's. Yeah. We're paying your bills, McDonald's. Fucking treat us better. Like, what the fuck? Alright, anyways. You know what I'm saying? It's a job, and I don't think people are taking that shit seriously. But that's an American for you, right? They don't take shit seriously. They think everything should be given to you, blah, blah, blah. Or wait, is that an American? Or is that something else? Because an American, we be getting it. And we gonna defend our shit. That's why we got guns. Shit. If prohibition couldn't tell us what to do, I don't think anything can. Alcohol's still here. I guess we're gonna do what we want, right? But that's only if you're American. And if you're with this way of life, then stop being a bitch, stop complaining, and let's get with the shit. But I still want to talk more about sports. Because, you know, I be roasting people. I ain't gonna lie. Like, being normal is okay. Being normal is cool, actually. If you're not normal, you're a loser. If you're doing all this extra shit, especially if you're like a billionaire, oh, you're one of the biggest losers. The reason why is because you have a bunch of money, right? The money is not even real. The only reason money is real is because us normal people say, you know what, fine. We'll do this money thing with you because it seems a little bit easier to understand how to make things happen without all this haggling and all these other things that you would have to do. Money is a good medium, fine. But the only reason it works is because we say so. The minute we slap those dollars on the floor and be like, nigga, it's over, it's over. What you gonna do? Oh, I'll give you this point. I don't want them. Now what? Now what? Oh shit! Oh, help me! Help me! Help me, please! It's crazy, man! Oh, the crazy man got you. All right. See, because when money can't save your ass, money ain't gonna feed you. Especially if somebody say, nah, I don't want your money. You ain't getting nothing from me. What if the store don't want your money? What if the store won't take your money? Now what? How you gonna eat? Oh, got him. How you gonna eat? store don't take your money, how you gonna eat? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Oh, you gonna beg for that shit. You gonna go ask somebody. Yeah, that's what you gonna do. You can't get it, obviously. You gonna have to see if they take your money. What if they say, nah, I ain't taking your money? Now you've been walking around all day, you thirsty. You say, fuck food, I just want something to drink. The store won't take your money, and the other person, you ask them, they won't take your money. Now what? You got to... You better call Tyrone. But you can't use my phone. And that's the truth. That's the truth. You're going to have to call the police. And then you're going to have to hope the police accept your identification. Oh, this isn't an ID from here. What? Yeah, you're going to have to come with us. I know, right? Hey, you just can't win today. Talk about a bad soul. You had a bad day. Oh, yeah. Spend the night in jail. Wondering why you going through hell. So you had a bad day. You had a bad day. What you gonna do? They wouldn't take your money. You're thirsty, you're hungry. You gonna ask them, hey, this is the best thing you can do. You in America, right? Hopefully you in American jail. Hey, what's dinner? Can I get some water? Got a little water fountain right there next to the toilet. You know what? Fuck it. Get some water. Hey, G, the dinner is what time's dinner, G? Yeah, like 5 hours. Like, all right, cool. Drink some more water. Drink enough water. Well, hey, there's a toilet right here. You gotta go pee. At least you'll figure it out. That's why I said, hey, worst case scenario, call them. Better call Tyrone. Because if you can't make it happen, you know, it is what it is. That's the best bet. But if they defund the police, then where you at? Now, let me get back to the sports, right? Lost a couple people with that one, but hey, whatever. That was funny. All right, so the Cardinals are gonna turn some heads this year. We're gonna get a lot of new fans. There's gonna be a lot of new merch put out. So I think I'm going to start, like, you know, because sports is coming. I think I might start doing a little bit more sports, putting up, you know, the sports times and shit. Now, I definitely got some opinions, so I might have to do some sports reaction. Because there's a lot of people talking shit when it comes to sports, and they've been talking shit on the Cardinals, but I don't like it. There's a lot of news out there too that is actually, you know, good for the Cardinals, because right now this Carson Beck kid looks alright. You know what I'm saying? They're saying he's kind of looking like a Joe Burrow, which is not a bad thing. If he can throw it downfield, that's kind of helpful. Especially if he can get that arc just right, where it only hits the receiver's hands in the front and lead it just, if he could just drop those, you know, those lofty dots. That's all I can ask for. You know what I'm saying? Like, nice little arc. Drops right into the receiver's hand. And our receivers are fast enough and break just enough, and they got just enough reach to put it right out in front of them. They should be able to cap it. Now, there is a misconception about the abilities of our receivers. We saw how good Michael was last year, okay? Because Marvin Harrison Jr. was out. That's a whole month and a week of football. You feel me? Michael Wilson stepped up. Now, Marvin Harrison Jr., I think him and Michael Wilson should switch sides. Whatever side Marvin Harrison Jr. was on mostly throughout his career, put him on that side. I think there's a difference between the right side and the left side. And I believe there's a different vision from each side. I was a receiver, and I was a cornerback as well. There was times where I had to do rushes because I was real quick, and I would get to the quarterback. I'm very quick. Who I was, I'm not sure about it now. I'm just happy my nephew is faster than me. Oh yeah, that's so big. I'm an old man. I'm just happy that he's faster than me. That makes me feel like that. He's only 16 now, so I was thinking about letting him, be in sports and stuff, but it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you can do it. He's got the height and everything, but it's, you don't have to. So I want him to do whatever he wants to do, whatever that looks like. He's a video game specialist. I mean, he actually wins EA Sports tournaments all the time. Like state type shit, which is cool. But he still has academic stuff, and he also, being doing some track, sports, whatever. And that's the kind of things I like. I like, and my other nephews, please doing the same. I think he's more focused on. Trying to understand who you are, and that's a good thing because you need to understand who you are. You need to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, then you're already 2 steps behind everybody else by default. And there's a lot of people that are 2 steps behind. But focusing on your objective, because if you don't have that purpose or that goal, and it brings us back to that, you can't focus. And this is another thing that I think the Cardinals need to do. They need to find their identity. And right now, love is in the building. So, you got love in the building. You got Trey McBride. I'm gonna come up with a nickname. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. and MJ. No problem, MJ. Hey, we got MJ in the building. We just need to go ahead and dunk that shit and stop playing. Like his first game when he caught that pass from Kyler Murray, he put his hand down and touchdown. Like, oh boy, bring it back. Ever since he got hit, ever since he got back concussion, he turned into a little. There's something happened. And I need him to understand that you're okay. You're not hurt. You're strong. All right? MJ. Look, I'm telling you. Marvin Jr. MJ. I'm telling you. I get it. That was scary. But guess what? Now you know what's coming. So you can get your ass down or break that fool's ankles. Remember when you did that stutter step and then boom, dude fell. He fell. Boom, touchdown. Ah, yeah. Remember that? That's you. Catch it. Dude was on you. 2 steps. God, boom. Put your arm out. Bam, you got that. That's you. Boom, boom, 2 step. Back in the end zone. Boom, that's you. Remember who you are. That's for you, Marvin Harrison. Now, Tip Ryman. Hey, big Tip. Yo. Just the tip. I got you, bro. Just the tip. Welcome back. Welcome back. Bring us back. Bring us back. Bring us back. Bring us back. Just the tip. We got love in the building. He gonna help you out. Connor, bring it back. Run behind them real quick. Love, keep running behind Connor. If somebody tackles him, flip it back to Love. Love going on! The boom. You guys gotta have that this is rugby. You gotta have that this is basketball. It's time to to be flipping that ball to each other. Pass that shit. Throw it back. Be ready for it. Practice it. Get that connection. I need you guys to actually come together. For real. Y'all got to figure this out. Mike LaFleur, you're the head coach. This is a message for you. I need you to be creative. There is no bounds with the talent that you have at your disposal. You have the best team in the league right now. It has not been unlocked yet. This is going to be the worst to first, the biggest last to finish. This is going to be the greatest episode of NFL because you are going to unlock this team. When I'm saying this, I need you to listen to me very clearly, Mike LaFleur. This message is for you. I need you to listen to me very clearly. You have to get creative with this offensive line. You have to make sure that each individual person, they can see the matchup. And if you guys need to adjust the offensive line, yes, allow them to switch positions and redig in the dirt. Make the defense think twice and get the count off of that kind of movement. And then you'll have somebody in the back with a switch. Like, remember, you can always put your strongest run blockers on the one side to hit, and you can always rearrange the line to where you have your best pass blockers so you can drip. And you have to make sure, I know this might get heard by everybody else, but you have to make sure you keep two backs on the field at all times. I'm trying to give you this formula. Do a double back scheme. You're going to be fine. You got the best backs in the league. Trey Benson can rotate behind James Conner as fullback, and Trey Benson, yeah, he can, because you want James Conner to go fullback. All right, put him in the fullback position, and then you got to decide who's going to be your third down back. Is it Jeremiah Love? I think we should do that. That'd probably be a good idea. And have Algier be your two down back, your first two downs, and James Conner right there next to him. That'll be easier, chipping and the pass protection. That'll give whoever's in the pocket a little bit more time. Tip Ryman is back. You can utilize this. These are things, Mike LaFleur, this message is for you. These are things that you can utilize all over the place. And you have the two best receivers in the game, and you just added two more best receivers in the game. So you have receiver packages, and you have the number one tight end in the game. And you have so much right here that there's no limits for you. Now have your offensive line, learn all positions, and guess what? You can actually keep Froholt right where he is and make sure you're starting to pick up your center of the future. This is something that you need to think about. There are people on the market. Mike LaFleur, this is for you. There are people on the market, and for defense, you want to bring a vet in. If you want to do a trade, you can trade somebody from the defense, not trade Sweat under any circumstances. If you want to, you can probably trade Darius Robinson. If you don't think he's working out, you can trade him in a package and try to get somebody like Max Crosby or somebody like Garrett Williams or somebody like somebody that is notably recognized. Even Trey Hendrickson. You even have Hutchinson over in the Lions. These are options that I think you should take for defense, but there's some open market guys right now that you don't have to trade for. You got Clowney out there, and you got Cam Jordan. I think if you pick both of them up on some deals for maybe 1 or 2 years, that might get some deep, and then you don't have to trade Darius Robinson. But Mike LaFleur, that message is for you. Moving forward, all right. Now, with that James Conner situation and with Trey Benson, have them opt in as fullbacks. That's very important, and make sure that Trey Benson is also getting touches when it comes to That way, there's a constant rotation with the backs, and everybody's getting their touches, everybody's getting their experience, and then that gives a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to special teams. And now you can get a flow with those guys coming in and out with special teams or whatnot. And then with the Cam Jordan and Clowney and pickup, that will give the defense a nice little let's go. That might even incentivize Calais Campbell to come back the following year. But you can get 2 vets on probably like a 2-year deal, let them retire as a dream team with Sweat. Yeah, we'll have a defense that can be reckoned with. But that's 2 things you can do right there that can change the trajectory of this team. But that's my take on the Cardinals right there. It has been a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and get some rest here. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. This was a good talk. We were hanging out pretty good. And yeah, it's time. Well, all right. Okay. What do you not like? Anyways, you guys have a good night.
I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud.
Yes, guys, we did it. You guys made the nation proud. A lot of good stuff here. We had a nice conversation about the Cardinals. We gave some messages out there. And we'll probably put that stuff up. But these are things that we need to consider right now. We have to make it. We should try to see what we got. And the next quarterback that the Cardinals should go for is probably somebody that should somebody that, like, I mean, if they don't re-sign Lamar Jackson, yeah, that kind of, yeah. So keep those options open and available. The whole Aaron Rodgers thing is interesting. That would be interesting. But but there's going to be a lot of options coming out shortly. So keep those things in mind and
Get ready.
I got some questions I need to ask myself. Really need to ask myself. I just don't even know anymore. What do I really want to do? Where do I really want to go? Who do I really want to be? Man. Yo. What do I really want to do? Where do I really want to go? Who do I really want to be? Try to do the right thing all the time. I'm like a hero online. Shit, I come through, save lives all the time. Bust out with the heels and now everybody living life at full health. I'm on, bro. I'm getting that wealth and I'm trying to put everybody else on. I got the belt, the champion. Every time you see me running in the zone, playing in the game. Always in the zone, and when we got the home field, you know we insane. Shit, hit me on my phone, and you know I'm hopping on the next plane. You know what's up? Shit, let's hit 'em up. Party over here, then we party over there. Come back to the crib, kick it with the kids. That's just how I live. Family biz, huh? This is how we go.
If you do not want to change, if you do not want to better yourself, if you do not want to break outside of this matrix, if you want to live in your comfortable delusion that they have built for you, do not watch these videos. Leave this channel immediately. If you do not want any truth, don't want to understand, if you are not here to hear something that's outside of your own mind and accept others' minds and opinions and the way they think for themselves, you do not belong here. And finally, if you are not trying to be positive, if you are not trying to help create solutions while we discuss the problems and how they got here, you do not belong here. Negativity, hate, disrespect, name calling, those things will not be allowed here on this platform and not in this empire. We are the ones, the true Americans that want to be free and stand as we have always stood.
Oh my God, nigga, yeah, you lose a lot. 50 cal, long shot.